Hello. Uh, Good night, everybody. Although it sounds like I'm saying I'm signing off. If I'm speaking low, it's because I was at the No Kings parade yesterday. I also had to do some singing today. And plus, I have a bunch more singing to do this week for Holy Week at my church job and other few places. So, if I'm speaking lowly, it's because that is why. I'm speaking lowly for that reason. And it's off right now. This pop filter off right now. It's blocking my face and everything. And yeah. So yeah, if I'm speaking low, it's because of that reason. Once again, so the No Kings parade yesterday. I'm calling it parade because again, it's being funneled by bloodthirsty Zionist Democrats who are organized to sheep herd people back into the Democratic Party, and there was clearly no clear demands being listed for this parade. All it said is fuck ICE, Trump, this, that, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, whatever, Epstein files, which the Epstein files, I'll give it that, but there was no clear demands like stop the wars or end the genocide. They didn't mention anything about Cuba, Iran, Gaza, Ukraine, none of that, ending those wars, ending the genocide. And how the fact that these endless wars, especially the war with Iran, and it's like the economy because of Trump. Well, the economy's going to shit because we're in an endless war with Iran, who now has control of the Strait of Hormuz. It's not closed. They're just being selective about we're going to allow people who pay in the yuan, I believe, to pass through the Strait of Hormuz for their oil. Otherwise, you're not welcome. Hence why the rising cost of gas, oil, food, especially of fertilizer, that's going to go shoot straight through the roof. And now, especially with now Yemen has entered the war with Iran. They are allied with Iran, Hezbollah. Now they're in the war against the United States and Israel in the UAE. So my reaction to intervening the No Kings protest, really parade in New York City yesterday. I did it with CPI, who I just joined, Center for Political Innovation, a group of us that we intervened in the parade to hold the Democrats accountable for their role in what they're doing. Their role in this war with Iran, that they could stop this war. They're just as complicit, and they actually led for this war. And especially the No Kings parade was being organized by these Democrat monsters, Hakeem Jeffries, I think George Conway, Hillary Clinton, all of them, and the people who were like had their faces plastered. Hakeem Jeffries once again, and they never made one demand to end the war with Iran and the blockaded Cuba, or what they're doing in Venezuela, because they still have Maduro all kidnapped, the genocide in Gaza, why we're really in wars with doing all these wars for Israel. So we intervened. Basically at where it started at in Columbus Circle. Obviously, so everybody there is going to be there for the protest. Well, the parade. And we came with a clear demand. When they started getting going in Columbus Circle about, this is what democracy looks like. And we heard all the slogans. This is free to all of us coalition here. I'm just like, I do not hear a single demand. And again, circle back to, there was nothing about, for the No Kings thing, and say anything about Cuba, Iran, Venezuela, Gaza, all the endless wars. So we basically said, the Democrats are complicit. Hands off Iran. Now, of course, with one other person I know of, we held up Iranian flags like, yo, why are we bombing this country? Why are we bombing this country? Why are we going after this country, which is destroying us? And they're kicking the shit out of our ass, rightfully so, because they're in a war for their very survival. Iran is, and for their existence. And what's crazy is that we had some people giving us pushback. Now, especially this is my first time doing one of these with a clear demand. Democrats are complicit. Hands off Iran. No more wars for Israel. No more wars for the Epstein regime. And some of them gave us pushback, especially one lady. Especially, I know there was one reporter, one local reporter is like, I see you holding up the flag for Iran. They killed 30,000 people. I'm like, okay, we're not entertaining that propaganda right now. Because they're not showing the fact that those color revolutions were started by the Mossad. And especially Mike Pompeo said, thank you to the protesters and the Mossad out in the streets in Iran. So they're trying to start a color revolution to overthrow, to initiate regime change in Iran. And then you bombed, obviously the U.S. bombed a school full of 160 kids, girls and children, plus a lot more girls out playing volleyball. And they're still doing it. And because you initiated it this time, while they were trying to do negotiations, Iran said, we told you this time we're not messing around. We will strike back. We will fight back for our very existence to purge you and Israel out of the Middle East. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. If I am speaking low once again, it's because I do have to sing for the rest of this week for Holy Week. And plus, I did do some shouting yesterday in the No Kings parade. And basically, with CPI, we basically intervened with the clear them. I can, but I'm not going to do them today. I need to chill out with my voice. So basically with CPI, we came in with a clear demand. Democrats are complicit. Hands off Iran. And we made it clear. loud and clear. And that's in the show. Let me get this up and running. Get this up and running. Get it up and running. Get this going. All right. Here we go. Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on. All right. It's me. So it's not being kind to me right now, but basically, we legit beat the parade because it's starting to head down 34th and 7th. We were already there in the middle of the road, just to say you're going to have to go through us peacefully. We were there peacefully, saying the Democrats are complicit. Hands off Iran. Democrats are complicit. Hands off Iran. Because if you recall, when Trump, during his State of the Union address, was literally, and I mean literally, calling for war with Iran at the behest of his masters, Mayor Adelson and Benjamin Netanyahu, Israel. That's who we're doing it for. Come on. Come on. Come on. You've got to be kidding me. Now it doesn't want to share. Now it doesn't want to share. Okay, clearly. Okay. 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 It's not letting me do it this time, but, alright, fine. Fine. I have to call it an audible. Let's see. Let me make sure that I can get more. Alright, so let's try this one. Alright, share screen.
While telling those who were there in Capitol Hill that Iran has already developed missiles that he said threaten Europe and some U.S. bases overseas. Listen.
After midnight hammer, they were warned to make no future attempts to rebuild their weapons program, and in particular, nuclear weapons, yet they continue. My preference is to solve this problem through diplomacy. But one thing is certain, I will never allow the world's #1 sponsor of terror, which they are by far, to have a nuclear weapon. Can't let that happen.
Andrew Boyd joins me now. He's former chief of operations for the CIA Counterterrorism Mission Center. Andrew, where do you think we are in this? I keep asking members of Congress who appear on this program if it feels...
Yeah. They never intended to build a nuclear weapon at all. And even then, it's their sovereign right as a country to enrich uranium. It's their sovereign right. But undefined. Where's it at? Where's it at?
As president, I will make peace wherever I can, but I will never hesitate to confront threats to America wherever we must. That's why in a breakthrough operation last June, the United States military obliterated Iran's nuclear weapons program with an attack on Iranian soil known as Operation Midnight Hammer.
That fucking freak smiling. All these warmongers.
Many decades. Since they seized control of that proud nation 47 years ago, the regime and its murderous proxies have spread nothing but terrorism, death, and hate. They've killed and maimed thousands of American service members and hundreds of thousands and even millions of people.
Such liars.
The kings of the roadside. And we took out Soleimani. I did that during my first term. Had a huge impact. He was the father of the roadside bomb. Just over the last couple of months with the protests, they've killed at least, it looks like 32,000 protesters. 32,000 protesters in their own country.
These lies.
We stopped them from hanging a lot of them with the threat of serious violence. This is some terrible people. They've already developed missiles that can threaten Europe and our bases overseas, and they're working to build missiles that will soon reach the United States of America.
No, they're not.
They were warned to make no future attempts to rebuild their weapons program, in particular nuclear weapons. Yet they continue, starting it all over. We wiped it out and they want to start all over again. And are at this moment again pursuing their sinister ambitions. We are in negotiations with them. They want to make a deal, but we haven't heard those secret words. We will never have a nuclear weapon. My preference
Look at all these people standing. Standing ovation, literally. Everybody is literally standing. Fucking liars. Yeah.
Good day, this is Davis Harris coming to you for Reason to Resist on March 29, 2020.
Let me stop there. But yeah.
From Bandar Abbas in Iran. Currently standing outside the entrance to
But yeah, he he's lying. He's saying they've always wanted to build a nuclear weapon. They never once wanted to build a nuclear weapon. Now that may all change when you kill the Ayatollah. When you off the Ayatollah, and now the new ones who's in, you killed his father, his son. Well, after you killed his daughter, let me take that back. The new Ayatollah that's in, you killed his father. You killed his 14-month-old daughter, on top of bombing a school full of 160 children and girls, and still bombing civilian targets in neighborhoods. So now he's not as religiously inclined like his fathers were, the Ayatollah, who instituted a fatwa that he will not build a nuclear bomb. He has made that perfectly clear. I mean, at this point, I don't know if he even matters anymore, because Iran is hammering all the U.S. bases hard. They're literally, they're done for. And Israel rocked. And basically we were saying, and that No King's Parade, when we were in the middle of the road, and when the parade was coming, we made it, stood firm. It's just like, Democrats are complicit because they are. Hands off Iran. Democrats are complicit. Hands off Iran. Democrats are complicit. Hands off Iran. And because that is a legit, that is a real legit, that is a true legit demand. Not, no ICE, this is what democracy looks like, coming with a true demand of what? Because if you don't do this, if you don't get your hands off of Iran, May 1st, general strike. I mean, May 1st, general strike. That's what he would do. That's what it would do. May 1st, general strike. Send that message. And it's to hold the Democrats responsible for their complicity, and not just for the war in Iran, for being all cheerleaders, because the Democrats are super quiet now. They're saying, see, Trump's a problem, but they've always wanted this war too. Always wanted this war. They were cheerleaders for this war, and especially when Trump launched this war. Now, not only that, before then, Ro Khanna and Thomas Massie introduced a war powers resolution that would put the Congress on record to see who is in support for this war. And this was shortly before the war began. And the Democrats, especially, they pushed it off, knowing that the war was going to begin. I believe it was on Saturday that it began. They knew it was going to begin. And you know what? Since it's working now, I'll show you what I did with CPI, Center for Political Innovation. All right. Come on. There we go. There we go. Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on. No, that's not what I wanted to share.
Talking blitzing. Hands off Iran. The Democrats 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 talking blitzing. Hands off Iran.
These are a few of my favorite things.
So basically, yeah. That's what we did, and we did that in the middle of the parade. We stood in the middle of that parade, intervened to interject a true demand, something that these organizers intentionally did not do at all. They did it on purpose. All around the country. Yeah. Fuck ICE. Are you saying fuck Israel? Because for those who don't know, ICE is headquartered in Israel. Why is that? On top of doing all these wars for Israel, Iran, the Gaza genocide, the Palestinians, and I was rocking my Wear the Peace Palestinian hoodie that day yesterday too. Yeah, it was just a bunch of these slogans. And I was like, you know what? Yeah. And of course, some people challenged us, like, stop it with the bullshit. It's Trump. Trump is part of the problem. The king is the whole billionaires and the capitalist system itself. And who Trump answers to. Again, Bibi Netanyahu, Miriam Adelson, Jared Kushner, Steve Witkoff, Peter Thiel, all these guys all these people he answers to, these monsters. And of course, we weren't the only ones who were saying it. There was actually, I think there was somebody I know who I was smiling when I heard they say, fuck Israel. No more wars for Israel. Like, oh yeah, yes. No more wars for the Epstein. No more wars for the Epstein regime, Epstein class. I'm like, yeah. Now we're cooking. And they joined us because, again, they also, too, came with a clear demand. No more wars, general strike. And believe it or not, for all the fair dissenters, especially when we were holding up the Iranian flag. So you were going to suppose with a bloodthirsty regime, I'm like, so bombing that regime, and especially there was one who's from the diaspora. It's like, so we don't have no rights without the hijab. I'm like, can you verify? Can you say? Because, we would like to at least verify, because sometimes we could be propagated, but like, who is this coming from? Can you say your source? I am the source. I'm like, can you pull up other sources? So it's not like, again, you always want to vet your sources. You want to vet everything because it's not like we're just saying hands off Iran. Like, there's so many things that have been shown to us, made clear to us, multiple sources and everything that we see. And you can't just be like, well, because especially if you're going to say, shouldn't you understand? And especially when your politics are an extension of your trauma, you're short-sighted because you're leaning into your trauma, who you are, your identity, but not like people who are of your same identity. And this is a story I'm going to harken back to, because once we are done with the done intervening at the parade, we went to Red Lobster to have a get-together and explain what the mission of and they were teaching me what the mission of CPI was, which is a Center for Political Innovation, Caleb Maupin. It's a political education, so that you use that to not only make the country better, to learn how to properly engage what we're dealing with right now. And I introduced myself as a new member, and there was a guy who went before me who was he was always like, he said he was a right winger, he was Trump through and through, and he said he got duped, and he felt like, he said Trump through and through, and he got played, and here's the thing, it hit all of us from who came from either spectrum, me from the left as a Democrat, or what I thought was the left at the time, until I realized what the fuck this is. This is authoritarianism. And then when he shared this way, I shared mine, especially for me as a black man. When I realized what Kamala Harris was doing, and she said she will forever and always stand with Israel, who was committing a genocide using our tax dollars to commit a genocide. I said I could not for the life of me vote for somebody, anyone, who would do what they're doing. And it didn't matter who, because clearly Trump is continuing what Biden did. I mean, what every other president did, but in this instance, what Biden and Kamala were doing. It just didn't matter. He didn't end the war in Ukraine. He didn't end the genocide in Gaza. He started another forever war with Iran, a devastating war, which is literally World War III. You kidnapped a sovereign nation's leader, Maduro. You blockaded in Cuba. Like, what the fuck? But back to Kamala. And especially when I said I'm voting for Jill Stein, I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? How dare you vote for third party? Which I heard that bullshit. But then again, I heard from certain others like, oh, we ain't ready to have a sister as a president. And no, we can't have that sister as a president. And she ain't one of us. Just because she's skinful, she ain't one of us. How dare you try to thrust our trauma to say we have to elect her as the first black president, but yes, she committed a fucking genocide. But when this was under Kamala, she said, once again, I will forever and always stand with Israel against her enemies. It doesn't matter. She's the first black president. She will not be ready. The fact that you didn't do it, I'm like, you know what? I'm done. I'm done. I don't want to hear this no more. And the fact that you use it as a clutch made me angry. It made me angry. I was so hurt. I said, I fuck this. I will never vote for anybody in the duopoly ever again. But she's, especially Jasmine Crockett, like, she's that black girl. Like, I don't care. What the fuck is your problem? And especially the fact that you have a track record of voting for everything for Israel. But she ain't taking no AIPAC money, but you're taking Shell corporate money from the AIPAC, from the shell companies of AIPAC. I don't want to hear that no more. Your identity politics mean nothing to me. And if you're going to call me a misogynist because I didn't vote for the girl who got all ghetto and I didn't hear no policy, all I heard is Trump has to go. That's the only thing I heard. We have to stop Trump. Trump has to go. You made no demands, no policy. And when I looked up some of the bills you signed in favor for Israel, I'm like, and then you went on a podcast with, I think it was with Jason Lee, and saying that sometimes we have to stand with our allies, and Israel's one of them. What? Okay, get out. You, Hakeem Jeffries, Richie Torres, Cory Booker, the Genocide Black Caucus. No more. And especially some people who hold on to this notion that it's one of us. You can't go against one of us. Yes, the fuck I can. Because if your class policies don't reflect what the working class needs, and if I'm called a turncoat for not voting for you, I'm voting with my conscience, not because you're one of us. Because quite frankly, you're not fucking one of us. You're not of the working class, period, according to what you've been in favor of. Sorry if my rant is like that. it was just that the 2024 for me was that flashpoint. And it was just fed up and done. And I needed to find something to be a part of, not just for my political evolution and education, just something to grow with. And I found it with the Center for Political Innovation. And that was my reaction to why I joined in intervening at the No Kings protest parade. So yeah. With that, I'm going to rest my voice and save it for the rest of this week. With that, have a good night. And I'll see you the next one.